Ethiopians have no homes after rebels forced them to flee in the north. They are now stranded in the area of Dupti, in the Afar region. It is one of the hardest hit in the country's 15-month war against rebels of breakaway region, the Tigray People's Liberation Front, known as the TPLF.
You can see it with your own eyes. We were evicted from our home and are eating biscuits. There are pregnant women among us. There are mothers who gave birth on the road. There isn't even a rug to sleep on here. The TPLF evicted us. They are living inside our homes. They are looting our belongings and burning the rest of our houses.
Aisha Nur was cooking for her son when a shell hit their house. 9-year-old Tahir was badly burned. Luckily, his mother could bring him with his brother to a hospital here. But she had to leave her 6 other children behind. She doesn't know if she will ever see them again. This hospital is stretched far beyond its capacity. Many of the patients feel no one is paying attention. Afar's regional forces are poorly equipped and lack military backing. Militia fighter Ibrahim Abdallah was shot in the chest in the Kuneba district.
It feels like, compared to what the TPLF brought, there should have been more support to defend our land and our homes. You can't defeat mortars with a Kalashnikov.
Regional authorities say up to 350,000 people have been displaced since the start of the year. And with TPLF forces occupying Afar's western border, no one knows when they'll be able to return home. Valerie Browning is an aid worker who has lived in Afar for more than 3 decades.
All the schools, clinics, hospitals that were constructed in this space of time are now gone on the western border, the whole lot. So, I mean, in the end of the day, the market's gone, the wealth from the people has gone. We are back to zero. We are back to enormous food insecurity and hunger.
Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed speaks of the conflict in the past tense. Meanwhile, the conflict in Afar goes unnoticed. The Kahuzi-Biega National Park in the east of the Democratic Republic of the Congo stretches over 6,000 square kilometers. 250 eastern lowland gorillas live among its forests and grasslands. The park is home to the largest known population of the primate, now classified as critically endangered.
In the Bonane family, there are 4 babies. They live in the wild. The gorillas only need security, that's it. If they have security, the gorillas grow very easily and very quickly.
But security is a problem. Many armed groups operate in the region around the park. 2 civil wars have decimated the wildlife populations here since the reserve's creation in 1970. On its edge, the Lwiro Ape Rehabilitation Centre cares for injured animals.
We try to feed them here at least once a day from 9 o'clock. We arrive here at 6:30 a.m. We give them the meatballs, the bananas, and if they are sick animals, that's when we take the opportunity to give them medicine.
The sanctuary is home to more than 100 chimpanzees, as well as some bonobos and baboons. Most ended up here after rangers confiscated them from poachers. This monkey's arm had to be amputated. Recovery can take weeks or months, depending on the severity of the injury.
First of all, we try to put everything in place to save the animal's life. If it's a case of injury or another serious case, we can start by looking at how to stop the bleeding and then anesthetize the animal, give it stitches, and bring it back to its cage.
The cages are cramped after the vast spaces of the forest. But since November 2020, Not a single animal has been released back into the wild because of ongoing fighting. This hospital is the last chance at survival for these AIDS patients in the Central African Republic. Around 110,000 people here have HIV, the virus that attacks the immune system. But a lack of testing means many sufferers are not counted. This community hospital is the only one dedicated to caring for patients at an advanced stage of AIDS in the capital Bangui. The hospital has 68 beds and a further 15 for intensive care.
Our mortality rate is between 10 and 15%, which is not bad, frankly, given the severity of the conditions in which our patients arrive. We have patients who die the same day or sometimes within a few hours of arriving at the emergency room. This is one of the only countries where there is no free HIV testing, so patients learn of their HIV status very late, when they are already in an acute condition.
An HIV test costs around €4. But almost 70% of the population lives below the poverty line, according to the World Bank. That is €2 a day. Meanwhile here, treatment for HIV patients is free. Many suffer from tuberculosis. After living unknowingly with HIV for years, patients have very little resistance to infections.
I was extremely tired and exhausted. When I arrived at the hospital, I had no appetite or strength, but now the tiredness is starting to disappear, and the appetite is coming back. I feel a bit better about my body.
While this young man is still at the beginning of his antiretroviral treatment, this woman has already come a long way. She says she owes her life to the hospital, which is supported by the humanitarian group Doctors Without Borders, known as MSF.
I know that if I had not been able to come to this MSF service, I could have died. Today I am healthy. I take my medicine, and I can even run my small business.
But outside the hospital, HIV sufferers face another uphill battle: social stigma. Widespread hostility forces them to hide their status. Countries around the world have launched awareness campaigns, but in Central African Republic, there is little public information.